Hello everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to some more World of Warships, and today we are showing off the Tier 9 Kitakaze, the IGN Destroyer, Split Branch. I mean, really no surprise. There's really no surprise. Nothing really new. Anyways, obviously I'm still working up the IGN line. Might as well reshow it because it's actually been some time since I've last played the Kitakaze. This match is mostly a Tier 9 match. There is 3 Tier 10s sprinkled in. They're all cruisers. I am joined with Yudachi in the Musashi, and we were playing on Islands of Ice. And I will have to say, I kind of miss the old Islands of Ice. I mean, the really old Islands of Ice. The one back when World of Warships was first released. The one that was super claustrophobic, so many islands, that it was just insane. I kind of miss that. I kind of wish they would bring that back, just for a little bit, just so we can, re-see it. This Island of Ice, it's nothing interesting. Really, it's not, to be perfectly frank. But anyway, we're here to talk about the Kitakaze. And maybe a few sharp-eyed viewers can see this Kitakaze captain is not fully retrained, or better yet, only has somewhat functioning concealment expert on it. Right now, the concealment on this Kitakaze is at 6.3, and if you hear any noise in the background, I do apologize because my neighbors are downright assholes, and they're playing music loudly. Hopefully, it's not going to be that big of a deal. I'll try to keep talking over the top of it. But yes, this Kitakaze, not fully retrained. Once you have it fully retrained, you get the detect down to 6 kilometers, if memory serves me. So, not particularly stealthy compared to, say, the Yugamo or the Fletcher, but still fairly stealthy, which is always super nice. The ship itself is not completely built up. This, I think, was one of my first few battles with the Kitakaze. And I will have to say, going through the research bureau, it really drains your money very quickly. So that's why you're not seeing it completely spec'd out, to say the very least. So, right now we have 16,200, and probably what obviously is the main gimmick of this line is the fact that they have very fast firing guns. And yes, that is a Neptune coming down the channel 4 kilometers away. Not a ship I really would like to see, because Neptunes can quite easily chew up a Kitakaze. Granted, a Kitakaze can chew up a Neptune if not obviously detected. They are 100mm guns. So without IFHE, even with the penetration bonus that they alone get, it's still a bit of a struggle. What really helps is your very fast firing guns and also allies to shoot a Neptune that is just charging forward. Yeah, don't really know what his thoughts were on that, but that's kind of what happened. So, Neptune's down, Iowa also charging in, which is a little interesting. This battle, some of the enemy players had some interesting choices. I could have kept in the smoke screen, but obviously, I want to get off some torps. These torps, they do have a 10-kilometer range. You can get them upgraded to go out to 12 kilometers, do additional damage. The reload time on the torpedoes is horrendously bad. You only have one set of torpedoes, but you do have the torpedo reload booster, and even these unupgraded torpedoes hit pretty darn hard, so still have to be at least somewhat careful when dealing with Kitakazes. Their torpedoes are pretty good. So obviously, torpedoes away on the Iowa. The Iowa should be aware that there is at least a destroyer around. Being hyper aggressive right now, very hyper aggressive. And I guess actually a couple bad things about the Kitakaze is, well, one, she's not fast. not fast in the slightest. With, I believe, a speed flag and no speed boost, you can get up to around 34-35 knots. With the speed boost, ooh, there we go, 36,000 off of that Iowa. That is one dead tier 9 battleship. But here's the funny thing. That second set of torpedoes actually are still going. Even though they were probably spotted by the Iowa, they still managed to make their way towards the enemy Bismarck, cause a flooding, and I believe we are going to manage to get one more. Nope. Oh, there we are. Get another flooding on the Bismarck, another 19,000 points of damage. That's when the Fletcher pops up, and this is where the Kitakaze really is strong. It's very strong, even against cruisers, but strongest it's against destroyers. The only downside is obviously its detect is not as good as you would like, I guess is probably the best way to say. Fletcher is extremely ballsy, firing out in the open, especially with the fact that there's a Kitakaze nearby. Obviously, he's being focused down. Instantly pops his smoke screen. Fortunately, I think we actually have... I'm trying to remember... Do we? No radar. I was trying to think if there was actually a radar, but it looks like he got detected by the Smolensk, I believe. So once again, Kitakaze not very fast. It doesn't handle particularly well. It has a very large turning circle radius, so it's not very nimble in the water, to say the very least. Now, unfortunately, we just lost Yudachi there to the Yoshino. On the enemy team, but it's still fairly close. We are managing to at least cap B. We are ahead in points, so the match is actually fairly close, to say the very least. Now, obviously, that's the main issue is, for the most part, your guns are your main focus. That's where you're going to be getting a lot of your damage. Torpedoes, yeah. As you can see, torpedoes did a lot of damage for us in this battle. But main focus is going to be obviously the torpedo or the guns. So you're going to be sitting in smoke screen probably a little bit longer than most other destroyers and just pew-pewing away, which can cause issues if there are enemy destroyers that, as many people are aware, smoke screens attract torpedoes. So the main thing you want to get for the Kitakaze is the propulsion modification. Allow it to speed up a little bit quicker, even without speed boosts, just so if you do have torpedoes incoming, you can at least potentially dodge them if at any time that does occur. So yes, another thing about the Kitakaze, just like the Akazuki and then the Harugumo, is its AA is really fantastic. It does have a 5.8 range AA bubble. Does a significant amount of damage per hit, obviously when you focus fire. Now, I don't believe this captain has I'm trying to think if he actually has BFT. I want to say yes, because it is actually my Harugumo captain, and it is a 19-point captain, just not obviously not fully retrained. So I believe this is my Harugumo captain. Actually, scratch that. It is my Harugumo. I believe it does have BFT. Now, you can open water gunboat. It's actually not a terrible idea, especially when you only have mostly battleships that can shoot back at you. Obviously, I did drop torpedoes. I did spot that Fletcher, instantly went to focus on him because he's so exceptionally low in health. And it's always a good idea to focus on targets that are so low in health, because they are points, they are still a threat. A ship is no longer dangerous until it's completely sunk. And you remember those torpedoes that I dropped off towards the Amagi? Yeah, they're actually going to land. There we go. I was waiting for it to happen. There we go. Amagi is now dead. That is kill number 2 for us. Unfortunately, as you can see, it's still a very close battle. Granted, we do have B and C. We are obviously ahead in points. And right now, it's really going to come down to what the enemy team is going to do. And they're going to do a really good job trying to bring it back as much as possible. Now, there was a Des Moines up there, and as usual, as any good destroyer player should be well acquainted to, is knowing the radar range of Des Moines. Obviously, that Des Moines wasn't spotted for some time and has been allowed to creep closer, and not in a particularly great position. So you can see here I'm actually trying to skirt the cap as much as possible, because obviously if I step into the cap, they're going to know something's there. That Des Moines is more than likely going to pop his radar, and right now, yeah, this is an extremely dangerous situation. Can't really disengage at all. So I believe I step in. Yes, I step in just for a moment, but it's actually not long enough, I guess, for that Des Moines not to pop his radar, which is interesting. Normally, people have a knee-jerk reaction with radar. Now, unfortunately for us, our Iowa here is completely being focused on, but with the fact that I'm now having a island set behind me, and this Iowa's fairly low in health, I think it's actually a good time to actually just open up. And battleships, granted their armor obviously is a little bit thicker, battleships can't just get rained down, and IGN Split Branch, they actually completely demolish any French battleships. French battleships eat HE like it's nothing. Or, that sounded good. They eat HE quite readily. So they get focused down relatively quickly. Now, your AP is not something to forget. Because your AP can actually do a significant amount of damage against broadside battleships, cruisers, and certain, obviously, destroyers. We do manage to take out the Iowa. Now all that's left on the enemy team is the Des Moines, the Fletcher, and the Smolensk versus a Soyuz, a Smolensk. Now, I'm wrong about that. Our Soyuz has now just gone down. We also have a North Carolina. So essentially, it was originally 5 versus 3. So we had the ship advantage. Fletcher is almost constantly being spotted. He seems to like to just sell around shooting his guns, and surprisingly, even though he's so exceptionally low in health, he gets away with it quite readily. But he's actually doing a really good job. He is spotting that friendly Smolensk, who is obviously being focused out by the enemy Des Moines and Smolensk there. And yeah, I would have to say, you definitely have to be careful with Smolensk. It's not something to be trifled with. Now, once again, a good destroyer is wise enough to keep a little bit of distance, especially when dealing with a combo of a Des Moines and Smolensk. Not a very fun combo for a destroyer. Unfortunately for us, that Des Moines manages to go through our torpedoes, turns in, I believe, probably the torpedoes were maybe hydroed. I mean, that's my only guess. Now, once again, we should kind of have this in the bag. We do have 2 caps. We are nearly 400 points ahead. Shouldn't be that big of an issue, right? As long as we kind of group together, focus fire, this Smolensk and Des Moines should go down relatively easy. And also, we do have a North Carolina, who I believe is actually near full health. So yeah, shouldn't pose that big of an issue. Obviously, smoked up, began pummeling Smolensk. Smolensk's armor is not very thick. Your shells can easily penetrate. But you do see we do have at least 10 broken shells versus 18 penetrations. So even with the improved IFHE, granted the captain's not fully retrained, it's still a little bit of a struggle. But as you can see, Des Moines does take out our Smolensk. And that right there goes to show that even though you're in a smoke screen, a good, well-practiced player can still hit you in the smoke screen, especially with the Kitakaze, whose guns are constantly firing. So do be careful of that whenever playing, because yeah, that's definitely going to be an issue. So right now it's 3 versus 3. Now keep in mind, we had a ship advantage. We have a battleship. Now granted, Des Moines It's a very powerful ship, but its armor is not that amazing. It's not Stalingrad, it's not Moskva. It can ricochet few battleship shells, but as you can see, our North Carolina, who was nearly full health right there, rams the Des Moines. So not a really good trade off there, to say the very least. But yeah, not a good trade-off, and surprisingly now it's 2v2, and the Smolensk has left A. Obviously, good chance to actually push towards A and try to cap it. Now, the other Des Moines, I really don't know what his thought process is right now. He's currently kiting away. I'm actually trying to curious. It shows that he's supposed to be full health. And I don't know how true that is, because it doesn't get updated till you actually see the ship on your view range. So I'm a little hesitant to say whether or not he's actually full health, but now we're actually able to capture A, and I guess this is a good demonstration why caps. I've been hounding this time and time again, which actually reminds me of a battle where we had, I believe it was almost, we lost 3 ships versus a loss on the enemy team of about 7 or 8. Like we had significant ship advantage, and the fact that we wouldn't cap, allowing the enemy team to fully cap out, and obviously led to our loss. I really thought about recording that video because it was very aggravating, seeing near full health battleships essentially skirting around caps, not doing anything, even though we had a ship advantage. Very aggravating. I'm not going to record it. I don't think it's really worth it, to be perfectly frank. But as you can see, Des Moines, which honestly should be winning this battle, is firing AP at the bow of a Smolensk. I mean, granted, the penetration value of Des Moines is nice, but switch to HE, people. Like, this is one of the few instances where HE would have been a better choice. Earn Confederate. Obviously, I'm the last ship alive, but if I don't die, we're still going to win this. So, smart choice. Instead of being a damaged whore, to use the word, but a damaged farmer, I guess is probably a better way to say that. I decide the smartest route to ensure victory, because you get a lot more money, XP, if you win. So, yeah, it's a good idea to actually play smart and pull away, because in about 38 seconds, we're actually going to win this. There's no way the enemy team can actually pull ahead in points. Nearly 500 point difference. About 460 now, I guess, technically. But anyway, as you can see, we're going to win this, because the enemy team ignored caps. They managed to bring it back. I mean, we were 3 ships ahead of them, but they managed to bring it back. But they don't have the point advantage, and I'm going to be a nasty little bugger and open up here, because 8 seconds, nothing the Smolensk can do. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button. You guys have a great and fantastic day. Zaichen.